These are the loudest birds I've ever heard. Listen to this.
Oh shoot, one just pooped on me. We are currently in Valladolid, Mexico, and we've been here for a few days now. We spent the day visiting Chichen Itza, and the rest of our time here will be spent on exploring the nearby cenotes. A cenote is a natural sinkhole, and there are over 6,000 cenotes in Mexico, and the best ones are here in the Yucatan Peninsula. And we're starting off with the Cenote Zací, just a 10-minute walk from our hotel.
So we're in the cave. It is leaking some, right? So we see like the puddles down here.
Hola,
Hola.
buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Una foto, amigo. Picture.
No, gracias.
My warrior.
There we go.
Wow, that looks so cool.
As you're jumping, you're like, oh, this is no big deal. And then you're like, oh, it's actually much further down than I thought.
I haven't done this in probably like a few years. So I do have a little bit of butterflies in my stomach, but heading out. So that wasn't as bad as I thought. I was most worried about how cold the water was. It wasn't so cold. It is actually very refreshing.
So we made it out of the cenote. Awesome experience. Pretty sure I saw bats, and on the way out it did say that there are bats in there. I'm gonna say that I saw bats. We dove off, it was probably like 18 feet or something like that, to the beautiful fresh water. It's a great time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and all that jumping and adventuring definitely made me hungry. So we're gonna go find a late lunch because it's definitely like 3 o'clock.
Perfect time for a good afternoon snack. So a little behind the scenes, kind of in the middle of the screen there, you can see that there is some water flowing, but you also notice that there's not a great mighty river or anything like that. So it's definitely pumping fresh water from somewhere, but it's not like just coming out of like a normal waterfall as you would picture it would be.
We found a spot to eat lunch, late lunch, early dinner. We were on our way to go look for a place to eat food, and we realized we were right by the hotel. It was just a couple minutes away, so we went and got dressed and changed and got out of our wet clothes because it's overcast now and it was actually cold. So the good news is that it didn't rain while we were at the cenote or while we were walking back to the hotel. And now we are at a restaurant. We have like a whole upstairs to ourselves. They told us that they don't have paper menus, so we had to look it up online, but we don't have internet service, so he just kind of explained everything to us. And we've got some beers, and we're gonna eat some yummy lunch. So we were trying to figure out what local beers that they had, and he couldn't remember, so he just brought us a sample of all the beers that they have. So this is like a porter vanilla, which I will probably try that. This is like an oatmeal porter. And then this is a Irish stout. So it's like the regional beers, I guess. And I think Will's gonna try the Irish stout.
Right, so kind of remind me of like authentic, amazing kind of like Mexican pizza, kind of like you used to get at Taco Bell. thin bread, I guess flat bread.
Wait a second. You just said authentic Mexican pizza from Taco Bell, babe.
It's like what Taco Bell is trying to be.
Okay.
Right? But obviously this is incredible and amazing, but like that kind of concept, like a thin pizza with a bunch of toppings. Yeah, so it's got like green beans and corn and tomatoes and cheese, but it's not like overwhelming with the cheese. Mushrooms, and also threw some that guac on top of it. It's fantastic.
Some hot sauce too.
Gotta have the hot sauce. So, how'd you sleep last night? Here's why. So, it's 4:50 in the morning, but this has been going on all night. It's apparently a really good time to do some light construction. Apparently this guy's like working on the bar or something. It's like banging as loud as I can. This is right from our window. Let's see if we can get this. Just down here doing some construction. While we're trying to sleep, and it's going on all night, like from 11 p.m. until like now. I don't know what he's doing. So that's banging, 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 and there's our door. So that's definitely not so fast. As you can tell, we didn't get the best night's sleep. Let's go get some coffee.
Good morning. I am awake now after some coffee and some food in my belly. And we're off for our day's adventures. Where are we headed to today?
Today we're gonna go check out some cenotes, specifically Cenote Xkeken and Samula.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and take one of those the buses that we were attempting to take yesterday to get us over to the cenotes. It's about I think, what was it, like 1.5 kilometers away. So so it's not too far, about a 10-minute drive.
And for both of these cenotes we're gonna visit first, it should be like a discount price if you buy two, kind of a package deal. So we'll go check out both of them and see where else the day takes us.
Gracias. 50. So yeah, they're actually here today. Then again, it's like 11 o'clock in the afternoon. But it's 50 pesos for each one of us to get there one way. And then he said, yeah, they'll be they're called colectivos, which means like collective, because it'll be just a few other people too.
And it just made our turn to go. Look at this. Gracias.
Thank you, little minivan, for getting us here semi-safely and quickly.
¿Dónde nos visitan?
De Florida.
Florida.
So he's showing us the two cenotes so we know where we're going. The first one is Samula. He said it's a little bit bigger, so the light rays will come through. He also said the life vests are mandatory. We have to pay for them. That's something that they don't tell you. But they're 20 pesos, so it's not too bad.
If you have to rent the lift, check it. 20 pesos.
¿Cómo?
Aquí se rentan los chalequitos.
Okay, gracias.
A 20 pesos la renta del chaleco y por cenote.
So there's 780 cenotes, and they've been formed over 165 years here in the peninsula.
The rooms and third and Yucatan, the meteorite, the form of cenote.
Samula.
La luz natural que viene por aquí. I mean, ahora la tuve que poner en español. Yeah, the natural light is going to shine through here.
Árbol álamo.
So they identify the cenotes based on how the light hits the trees into the cenote.
Okay.
Pregunta, ¿cómo a qué hora del día se ve más la luz que viene para adentro?
Por el momento ahora es hora de verlo.
Perfecto. Gracias. So I asked him what time of day was best to see the light beam because I haven't been able to find that online anywhere, and he said right now is the best time of day, and we're here about 12:30.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then he said that this is like rocks kind of at the bottom. We won't be able to see because of the storm that just passed through, so the water rose.
Okay.
Okay. Con mucho cuidado. Careful. Bienvenidos al Cenote Samula.
Wow, look at that. So we are heading out of Cenote Samula so we can head on to the next one. Cenotes was a bit of an interesting adventure. So we saw one of the taxi buses there, and so we went over to ask him, you know, how much it was, and he said it was 120. I was like, oh well, our trip to the Cenotes was 100 pesos, so can you give it to us for 100? And he's like, no, there's not a lot of people around. Usually it would be 150, but I already gave it to you for 120. And I was like, well, I don't know, let me find out. And so I kind of walk over to Will, and I mean, we didn't have, we had bigger pesos, we didn't have smaller pesos. I tried to go get change at the entry fee for the cenotes, and they wouldn't give me change because they didn't have a lot of smaller bills and they needed to save that. And then we saw a couple of the other people that were in the cenotes with us getting into their car, and no, I didn't ask them for a ride, although I was very tempted to. I mean, we already shared a cenote together, we might as well share a car, but I didn't do that. I just asked him if they had change for 50 pesos. He's like, hold on, let me check. And so, also, mind you, when I went to go approach him, he kind of like backed off like he was scared. I don't look very like tough and mighty, like, but it's fine, whatever. So they ended up having change, like all in coins for 50 pesos. And as I'm like going back to the van, the guy's waving me down, like, come on over. And so when I went back, he's like, that's fine, I'll give it to you for 100 pesos. And I was like, great. I mean, it's great that we did all that work to get change, but he ended up giving it to us for 100 pesos. So we had the whole colectivo, the bus, back to Valladolid, and we weren't sure exactly where he was going to drop us off because it wasn't the same bus brand as the other one, so we really weren't sure. But as he's, you know, driving into town, I kind of recognized some spots, and we saw a restaurant that we hadn't tried yet, so I was like, hey, just pull over right here, and we hopped out of the van, and now we're about to eat some food. So we ordered what we thought were margaritas, but definitely don't taste any alcohol. I think it's just Sprite because the young man, I guess the grandson of the guy who owns the place right over there, ran out to get some Sprite when we ordered these. And then he also walked in and told us that these were fried balls made with like beef and pork, and we definitely ordered vegetarian versions. And so I look at Will and I'm like, I don't think that they're vegetarian. And then the old guy comes back and says, nope, never mind, you got the vegetarian version. And I said, okay, great.
So we're back in Valladolid at Francisco Rosado Park, which we have a lovely fountain. We have our historic church. And like we said when we're coming in, this reminds us a lot of the Jackson Square Park in New Orleans. If you haven't seen that, check out our New Orleans video about that. And it's really cool because it even has like the fleur-de-lis around the chain and all the merchants. So we're here to enjoy the sunset, kind of relax. There's chairs and seats that you can sit down. There's different merchants and vendors that we're gonna check out. And now we're gonna check out the sunset and call it a night.
How is it?
Delicious.
What is it? Tell us.
All right, so we're gonna get some footage of this here, but it's basically like a waffle cone, like a really thin one, and they like press it like you would press a tortilla, and then you can put any kind of ingredients that you want to in it. The one that we got was Nutella and banana, but you can have like banana, strawberries, Nutella, chocolate. I think they have some other kind of stuff too. Really delicious. These are the loudest birds I've ever heard. Listen to this.
Oh, shoot. One just pooped on me. That's disgusting.
We've had a true adventure here in Valladolid. I mean, we visited one of the 7 wonders of the world in Chichen Itza, seeing El Castillo. We've had delicious Mexican food, obviously, delicious margaritas. We've been to, 3 cenotes. Really had a good time. We did some transportation on our own on buses and in vans, and just really, I think, got the most out of our trip. So we're gonna say goodnight and really hope you enjoyed this episode. And we have one more spot left in Mexico. And with that being said, what could possibly be next?